Nick, what do you make of a 1 through 16 seeded playoff format if there is indeed an NBA return?
Well, I do believe there's going to be an NBA return, and I think this would be a totally unnecessary, superfluous change that could be really unfair to certain teams, particularly, you mentioned them, the LA Clippers, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Now, I understand some folks will say in the age of coronavirus, in the age of a pandemic, things are just going to be unfair, and that I totally understand. But there is no need for this. This would simply be using the fact that because of coronavirus, they're all going to be in the same location to experiment with something they've been talking about doing for years. But I do want people to go back. The reason we initially started talking about should you seed the playoffs 1 through 16 was because there have been years where the 10 seed in the West, a team that misses the playoffs, would have been the 7 seed in the East. And so the idea was make sure you get the best 16 teams into the postseason. But this year, whether you seed it this way or the traditional way, it is the same 16 teams. And I would argue that while you potentially have a few more interesting first round matchups, if the seeds hold, the second round gets worse, the third round gets markedly worse, and I think it's unfair to change the rules unnecessarily on teams midstream. I think one of the reasons, now I have been a big critic of the way the Clippers handled their regular season. However, they handled their regular season under the belief we have to go through the Lakers no matter what, and then probably the Bucks in the finals no matter what. So seeding doesn't matter so much to us. To then change the rules on them, and again, I've been a Clippers critic, but to change the rules on them to where it's like, well, actually, had you gone all out this regular season, you could be in the position the Lakers are in, where you only have to go through the Clippers or the Bucks, where you only have to go through one of the other top 3 teams in the league. It's just grossly unfair, and I don't see why it's necessary. I don't think you should change the rules, Wilds, once you're already into a season unless you are forced to. This is something the league is not forced to do. It would just be taking the opportunity to do because they're all in the same place and travel's not an issue. I don't see the need for it, Kevin.
Well, I see the need for it because, first of all, it's super fun, Nick. You never mentioned the word fun, which this is the funnest playoff format we've seen since in the history of the NBA. So if the question is, am I voting for it? I'm not only voting for it, I'm parking the cars. I'm the old lady that welcomes you into the elementary school. I'm the kid that's selling you apple cider donuts. I'm the guy checking your name, and I'm giving you the sticker, I voted sticker. I think this is a wonderful proposal, Broussard, and I'll give you one reason why they should do it, Nick, outside of just fun. The Jordan documentary did a 6. We just saw an exhibition golf match do a 5.8. The first round of the playoffs, about 3 million people watch them. So they're in an opportunity right now to be as aggressive as possible and say, hey, we've got a unique opportunity. Let's push to get as many people and drum up as much interest in the NBA as possible. That's an opportunity right here. If they do the same old seeding, the same old, fine. But when they come out of that first round and they're doing a 3, then they have no one to blame but themselves, Broussard.
Nick, you're right about one thing. It's not necessary. I'll give you that. However, it's great. I love it. I've been calling for this for about 10 years, so I'm glad they're going to experiment with it, if indeed they do this. But remember, if they start in late July, they're going to be battling the NFL for ratings. So you need as much juice, as much pizzazz as you can get. And this, it's not a guarantee, but this increases the likelihood that LeBron James and the Lakers get in the finals. And I think we'd all love to see that. And it increases the likelihood of not a Lakers-Clippers Western Conference final, but a Lakers-Clippers final. That is tremendous. Now, you said it's unfair to the Clippers. I think it's better for the Clippers because they don't have to go through LeBron and the Lakers in the conference finals. They just have to go through Milwaukee. That's not easy. They got Boston maybe in the second round. That's not easy either, but it wasn't going to be easy either way. I think this is easier for them than it would be if it was just the Western Conference. Remember, Kawhi Leonard, with what I would say was a lesser team last year, took out Giannis and the Bucks in 6 games, beat them 4 straight in that series. So it would set up a nice grudge match between those two as well, potentially, which is more exciting. So I'm shocked, Nick, that you don't like this because I think it creates more excitement.
Nick, your eyebrows tell me that you disagree with the most of what Broussard just had to say.
Yeah, I just listen. You're right. This would be good for the Lakers. This would be good for my guy LeBron. But I'm not going to base my take on what you're trying to reverse engineer the best outcome for the Lakers. It's about fairness. It's about if all of a sudden, if the NFL changed the playoff format before the year started. If at week 12, they're like, hey, guys, by the way, we're adding a playoff team and the 2 seed doesn't get a bye, that would be wildly unfair. And I'm not a Clippers fan, but if I were the Clippers, I would say, you got to be bleeping kidding me. That you have made it so the battle for LA, we thought we were going to get this in the conference finals, have to play each other no matter what. Now, I'm still skeptical, by the way, that the Clippers under any format are going to be one of the final 4 teams remaining, but set that aside. Now you're telling us that LeBron, in theory, is going to get, for a chance to go to the finals, get a chance to go through the Raptors again? Get a chance once again? It's the damn Raptors you got to beat to make the NBA Finals. And so I look at this, and yeah, we could do the winners and losers of it. To me, I don't think people really care that much about Denver outside of Denver, but this would be a huge win for Denver. Instead of Denver potentially having in the first round Houston and in the second round the Clippers, they would have in the first round the Pacers and in the second round the Raptors. And I think this would be very bad, not only for the Clippers, but we also have to acknowledge the Bucks. And so the Bucks now have to beat both LA teams. That's not what they signed up for. And you're talking about them going up against Wilds, the NFL, for ratings. The NBA Finals are going to do great no matter what. Whether it's Lakers, Clippers, Lakers, Bucks, doesn't matter. Or Clippers, Bucks, do great no matter what. The conference finals, which would also be up against the very beginning of the NFL, would be worse under this format. A Bucks Raptors conference finals, the defending champion, the team they beat last year, and a Lakers Clippers conference finals is outstanding in all regards. A Bucks Clippers is very exciting, and Lakers Raptors, there's no history there. There's nothing there. And so I just think it's unnecessary. And I don't think you also, and here's the last point for me, Wilds, on this. It's another reason folks would want to add an asterisk to this season. They're already going to try to potentially do that. I don't think you give people an extra reason to say, well, how much did this season really count when they changed up the playoff format right before? You said fun. Single elimination is fun, but nobody's proposing that because it would be a terrible way, Wilds, to crown an NBA champion.
I'll go another route, Nick. If you look at the first round, and you've got LeBron versus Kyrie, and I know Durant is not coming back. Durant's not coming back, everybody. Durant's not coming back. But just food for thought. We'd be around 400 days of since Durant's surgery. That is beyond Boogie's return. It's beyond Chauncey's return. It's beyond Kobe's return. That is a lot of time that he's had time to rest. And I know he's not coming back, but we'd be at 400 days. The Lakers versus the Nets, I think, would have so much excitement. Just the Kyrie, LeBron alone. Leave Durant out of it, Broussard. I think it's worth changing the format just to see that matchup.
Well, look, I know Nick Wright well, and I see now what his problem is. If the Lakers were to win under this format, he sees the potential for people to put an asterisk on it and criticize LeBron for it, which would be completely unfair. So I'm with Nick on that. But, Nick, I don't get it. This is not unfair at all for the Clippers. If I'm the Clippers, I'm like, yes, we don't have to face LeBron. Now, I've told you, I think they would have been the favorite in the West anyway. But the fact that they don't have to meet LeBron and the Lakers in the conference finals, I mean, Milwaukee's not going to be easy, but I'd rather have to go through them than go through the Lakers. So I think this is outstanding. I don't understand why you don't like it. And, you said you don't switch midstream. Well, we had a pandemic. I mean, everything is on the table now. We can switch what we need to.
But that to me is a red herring here, because this would not be being done because of the pandemic. They would be using the pandemic as an opportunity to try something they've been talking about doing for a long time. If the NBA had to change things, because if you had to totally reseed everything because certain teams could only be in Vegas and certain teams could only be in Orlando, I would not be criticizing it. This would be using this circumstance to try something out, and it's unnecessary. And I know you said it with a smile, but I'm going to push back on the reason I'm against this is because people might then put an asterisk on LeBron's title. There is nobody watching this show has any questions about who my favorite basketball player is, who I think the greatest basketball player of all time is. But I would also hope nobody watching this show questions this: my significant lifelong commitment to take integrity. The easiest thing in the world for me would be to come on today and say I love it, because it does make it easier for the Lakers. It does make it harder for the Clippers. It does make it more likely that my prediction that the Clippers won't make it out of round 2 comes to fruition. All of that sets up well if that's how I wanted to do things. But I'm just trying to be fair here. And again, I think that the Clippers would have approached the regular season far differently if they knew there was a way to avoid playing the Bucks and the Lakers. Evidently, there is a way for one of those 3 teams to avoid having to play the 2 others. We thought it was be in the East and be Milwaukee. Turns out it's get the number 1 seed in the West and have the Clippers not care if the Raptors pass them in the standings. And so I just don't think it would be an equitable way to end the NBA season. It wouldn't be the worst thing ever. And either way, by the way, no matter what format we do, single elimination, best of 7, reseed, we're getting Lakers Bucks, we're getting Giannis LeBron, and we're getting my preseason prediction of Lakers in 6 over the Bucks. That's happening pre, post, during pandemic. But the route there doesn't need to be changed, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.